to our host.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anna. Good morning to you all the participants. Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this important Africa Regional Priority Setting Workshop being supported by the Global Minor Use Foundation. My name is Geoffrey Onen. I am an assistant commissioner with the Director of Government Collaboratory, and I'll be the moderator for this particular event. I just want to remind our dear participants that since the inception workshop, which we had in July, a lot has taken place in terms of different prioritization activities. We had different plant pathologists, entomologists, and other experts familiar with the crop pest burdens who were able to identify priorities for the Africa region. Today's session will be discussing the ranking based on the votes which we collected from the different African countries. And the outcome of this discussion today will form the research agenda for the Minor Use Foundation work in the African region for the next few years. Those of you who are not familiar with the issues of minor use, I think minor use are very important crops which are produced worldwide. Most of them are nutritious. In terms of our continent, we have quite a number of examples of minor crops. Things like cassava, okra, yams, eggplant, mangoes, and bananas, to mention but a few, are considered minor crops in the global context and are supported by the foundation. I want to point out that overall, this research work will also improve food security for the region, connect the African producers to the international market, and ensure that producers are using newer, less toxic pesticides and applying them safely. The majority of the time, this workshop will be spent today discussing some of the priorities. The discussions will be open, which I want to encourage that you all the participants take part actively. Basically, we shall be validating the priorities which we agreed on. And the focus for the workshop will be on the two priority areas. That's the fruits and nuts. And then the second priority area, the vegetables and herbs. I want to emphasize that you participate actively, share your thoughts as we undertake this important process. I will then move to the first part of our workshop as based on our program. And the first part of the workshop is the opening remark. And I'll introduce Doug Dross, who will deliver the opening remark. Just to give you a few background about Doug. Doug is the chair of the Minor Use Foundation. He received this PhD in agronomy from the University of Wisconsin in 1982. His retirement from Syngenta crop protection in 2019 marked 37 years of employment in the crop protection industry. During that time, Doug represented Syngenta as a liaison to the IR4 project and collaborated to initiate and complete many research projects resulting into new use of existing and new crop protection chemicals being extended to specialty crops and minor uses. Doug is still very active in the minor use industry through involvement as a board member of the Council for Agriculture Science and Technology and a board member and a board chair of the Minor Use Foundation. Doug, I want to welcome you to deliver your opening remark. Doug, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and good day to all of you. It's a joy and a pleasure to be with you today. I wish we were together in person, but that isn't possible. And we have the benefits of modern technology to allow us to connect over great distances for important discussions. So thank you very much for joining. Can someone pull up my slides, please? We're ready to go forward. Okay, and I will cue you when to move them. We can move to slide 2. So the Minor Use Foundation was incorporated in 2018 and started being busy and active in 2019. So we have quite if all of the participants could mute themselves, please, so that we can avoid the background information, it would be much appreciated. So we started the foundation officially in 2019. It's governed by a board of directors. The board of directors includes myself as a board chairman, and then there's 5 active board members. Michael Braverman, who will be speaking with us soon, is a board member of the foundation. Next slide. So let me share with you briefly the vision and mission of the organization. The foundation, the Global Minor Use Foundation, its goal is to establish a collaborative international approach to address MRL needs for specialty crops and minor uses, to implement the priorities that are the resulting from the Africa regional priority setting that we're conducting today, and the Global Minor Use Priority Setting workshops that have been conducted in the past and will be conducted in the future. We fund research to obtain and maintain harmonized MRLs and reduce trade barriers. We sponsor training and capacity building activities and workshops, and we coordinate our activities with organizations that work throughout the Africa region and the world. Our funding is from 3 sources: government grants, private foundations, and public for-profit organizations. Next slide, please. So we generate data packages internationally by doing the same study in multiple locations. And those data then can be submitted to the JMPR for evaluation and ultimately to Codex to establish a Codex MRL. These data are generated by project teams around the world, including project teams in the Africa region. And in order for this process to run smoothly, it is of course critical that we have a strong and efficient global regulatory system based on science, and also an effective JMPR and Codex Alimentarius process. Next slide. So let me brief you just on the current projects in Africa. We have 2 studies running currently, one on coffee with indoxacarb in Uganda, and another on passion fruit with sulfoxaflor in Uganda. And we have a couple of planned projects which have not been started yet. There's a study that will be done on passion fruit with sulfoxaflor in Kenya to give us a second location on the African continent. And we're actively looking for chemical combinations that could be used for okra. And the country or countries that might be involved in that are still being determined. Next slide. So let me share with you briefly some other projects that are being supported in Africa through the Minor Use Foundation. The Standards Trade and Development Organization is involved in a biopesticide registration and regulatory harmonization project in Africa region. And the United States Department of Agriculture with the Foreign Ag Service is in collaboration with some agencies on regulatory harmonization for the registration of conventional pesticides. Next slide. Now let me share with you some upcoming training and capacity building opportunities. Some of you may be aware that the third Global Minor Use Priority Setting Workshop was sponsored by the Minor Use Foundation back in September of 2020. I just want to highlight that the next Global Minor Use Summit we hope to hold in late 2023 or early 2024. And we will send all participants in this meeting today and our entire mailing list an update on the next Global Minor Use Summit, the timing and the location, as soon as the details are finalized. We conducted a virtual GLP training session in June 2 and 3 of 2022. We had over 500 participants from 21 countries in Latin America and Africa. And some of you may remember that and may have participated in it. And then we're doing ongoing GLP and field trial trainings, both virtually and in person as necessary. And you're welcome to reach out if you're interested in this. Reach out to us at the minorusefoundation.org. Next slide. I would be remiss not to acknowledge the support received by and from the STDF, from the United States IR4 project, from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, and also from the United States Department of Agriculture in the creation and funding of the Minor Use Foundation. We also extend our strong thanks to CropLife Africa and to the work teams in the partner countries that I mentioned earlier that have carried out residue pesticide studies with great care. And also I'd like to acknowledge Stella and our hosts, Paul and Jeffrey, without whom this session would not be possible. So my sincere thanks and appreciation to all of these individuals that have facilitated and that are participating today. Next slide. Finally, I'd like to leave with you my contact information in case you wish to reach out to me directly to give me input or feedback. So my email address is listed here, my phone numbers as well, along with the URL for the Minor Use Foundation itself. And I invite you to visit our website and learn more about us and contact us if needed for information and clarification. Jeffrey, I'm going to end my comments there and hand it back to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doug, for sharing the vision and mission of the Global Minor Use Foundation, and also being able to share some of the previous research undertakings which the minor use did support, and the current ongoing work in the region. And more importantly, the upcoming capacity building initiatives, which I think, dear participants, you really need to take note of. Again, I just want to remind our dear participants that we shall have the Q&A session. If there are specific questions you want to put to Doug, I think you can put them in the chat. We shall be able to attend to the questions. Our next presentation is going to focus on priorities for Global Minor Use Priority Setting Workshop, progress to date, and the Africa Regional Workshop process. Our presenter is by the name Michael Braverman, who is a board member of the Minor Use Foundation. Michael earned his PhD in horticulture at the University of Florida and is a former Fulbright scholar to Thailand. He joined IR4 in 1999, directing field and laboratory residue studies, and subsequently managed efficacy and regulatory affairs with biopesticides. He currently manages international capacity building programs, facilitates harmonization of regulations, and integration of biopesticide for conventional and organic systems. Successful international programs have resulted in establishment of new global trade standard. He has held positions as an extension vegetable specialist with the Texas A&M and as the rice wheat scientist at the Louisiana State University. Michael, you are welcome. Please proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and to all the participants in the meeting. I say hello, bonjour, jambo. Glad to be part of this meeting. So I'm going to be discussing the priorities from the Global Minor Use Priority Setting Workshop that Dirk mentioned, as well as the progress that we've had to date on the outcome of that workshop, as well as what we are about to enter today, which is the African Regional Workshop and the process. Next slide, please. So the Global Minor Use Priority Setting Workshop, the last one was held in 2020. We had developed a prioritization list followed by a voting and ranking. We conducted a merit analysis and then conducted the workshop in September of 2020. So out of that workshop, most of the input and projects were based on the needs of either North America, which was the greenhouse priorities, and Europe with the temperate priorities, and Latin America had most of the tropical priorities. Next slide, please. So out of that workshop, these are the top 10 priorities that were developed. Under greenhouse is focus on Tuta absoluta on tomatoes, Western flower thrips on ornamentals. And then in temperate, we've had priorities on spotted wing Drosophila, in raspberry, and a number of other crops. Tropical, focusing on Phytophthora on avocado, Anthracnose on mango, and Phytophthora on pineapple. And you can see they're on different stages, and a number of them, still to date, we don't necessarily have a new solution identified, but we continue on with the process in looking for new solutions. Next slide, please. So some of the follow-up from those workshops for downy mildew on green onion, we found out that there was existing data for methanoxam on green onions from Australia and Canada, and that data is going to be developed jointly to prepare a submission. Phytophthora on avocado, we're at the planning stage with ethoboxam, and Anthracnose on mango. A protocol has been written for picoxystrobin. Phytophthora on pineapple, a protocol has been written for ethoboxam. And then additional priorities had been developed for banana, pineapple, coffee, passion fruit, and okra. And as Dirk mentioned, some of these are kind of underway in Africa and some in Asia as well. Next slide, please. So that brings us to where we are today, which is the African Regional Workshop. So I'm going to be reviewing some of the phases and the guidelines and process for our workshop today. Next slide, please. So in July, we held an inception workshop, and many of you participated in that. We had a process to nominate priorities, and that was done in August. And then subsequently, we received your votes for the crop chemical combinations of importance. We then posted the preliminary ranking results, which were sent out to all of you. And that brings us again to where we are today. And so the starting point for today's workshop is going to be based on the votings and rankings that resulted in the different processes in coming to this point in the workshop. Next slide, please. So during your votes, you voted for your priorities from the highest to lowest, and those were assigned points. Those were multiplied by the number of countries that voted for that particular priority, and that's how we developed the total number of points. And then the points, based on the points, the priorities were ranked and divided into the groups, as Jeffrey mentioned, fruit and nut, and then vegetable herbs. Next slide, please. So this is the core of what we are going to be doing today at the workshop. As I mentioned, we have a spreadsheet, and that will be viewable on your screen. We have the current ranking, and we're going to be discussing the merits of the different priorities, and we'll probably want to move some up and some down, depending on what you view as important. Next slide, please. So these are some of the suggestions that can be considered as reasons to move a particular priority up or down. If there's no solution, then there's not a very good likelihood that that priority is going to move forward at this point. So you may want to move that one further down. If there's a possible solution, but the registrant has not yet indicated support, that's somewhat, I guess, medium range. And then if there is a solution supported by the registrant, and if there's also a need for a codex MRL, that's something that you should probably think about moving up in the priority setting process. Also, for the registrants, if you did not have an opportunity to submit a solution, please add those to the chat or somehow let us know about your support. We'd be glad to know about new solutions that you can make from the floor. So we want solutions that are effective on the pest, preferably ones that need a codex MRL, and also ones that we will be able to get local registrations for. Also consider how many countries are supported by the manufacturer. Is it somewhat older chemistry? Is it somewhat newer chemistry? So take these into account in thinking about which priorities you may want to move up or down. Next slide, please. Well, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and we look forward to an exciting discussion during the priority setting process.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. I think you have done justice to this workshop. You have taken us through the milestones of some of the activities which started way back in 2020. And thank you also for sharing the 10 priorities which I think the participants have taken note of. based on the different climatic zones, and then of course the growing practice in the greenhouse itself. I'm also very grateful to you that you have been able to show what has been done so far in the different parts of the continent and the other continents too, and what is still at the planning stage, with the emphasis on the development of the protocols and some of the ongoing work, which are the earlier one hinted on. Dear participants, one of the most important part of Michael's presentation is the taking us through the guideline which will inform our discussion today. So I think, Michael, thank you for sharing that. And when we come to Paul's presentation, I think, dear participants, let's really take note of that guideline which Michael has presented. That virtually concludes the presentation by both Dirk and Michael. So I want to propose we move to the next part of our agenda, which is the Q&A. As already mentioned, we were supposed to get the questions in the chat box. Colleagues, participants, you are welcome to pose your questions to both presenters in the chat box. If there are areas you feel both Michael and Dirk needs to clarify, or what you have not understood, please can you put it in the chat? Are we saying the presentation was spot on? There are no questions to Michael and Dirk? Anna, I see no questions. Do we proceed to the next section of our agenda?
Yeah, maybe we should pause for the group photo now, and then we can move on to the next section.
Okay, yes. So, dear participants, can you put on your videos? We are going to have a group photo. Can you switch on your videos? Celestine Musoni, put on your video. We don't see you. Yes, we can see you now. And is everybody on?
I think most everyone is on. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Are we through? Or we give ourselves more minutes?
Molly, can you take the group photo and let us know when it's done?
Yes, I've taken it. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to the second part of our agenda item, which is the review of the priorities. we have the first part of the discussion and presentation, which will be focusing on fruits and nuts. And we have the honor of Paul Osu, who is our own, who will take us through this process, and at the same time, he will be moderating this discussion. Just to give a brief bio on Paul. Paul works with the Ghana Standards Authority and is a chemist by profession. Currently is the head of the Food and Agriculture Department of the Biochemical Testing Directorate. The department consists of 4 laboratories. That's the pesticide residue laboratory, metallic contaminant laboratory, mycotoxin and histamine laboratory, food and drink laboratories. He worked previously as the head of the pesticide residue laboratory of Ghana Standards Authority. And the main focus of the work has been testing of food, water, soil, fish, and drinks for quality evaluation, export, and certification. Paul, in 2015, received his doctorate in philosophy in analytical chemistry from the Department of Chemistry, University of Ghana, Legon, for work done in the determination of pesticide contamination in selected fruits and vegetables in Accra metropolis, with a special importance on risk assessment of the commodities consumed in Ghana. Paul has worked as 23 publications. Most of them are in pesticide residues. He is a member of the Pesticide Technical Committee, Environment Protection Agency, Ghana, from 2005 to date. He is also a member of the Ghana Science Association, 2014 to date. Paul has been actively involved in the African Union Expert on Codex Committee on Pesticide Residue. He is also a member of the African Food Safety Network. He has 19 years as an analyst in the area of pesticide, veterinary drug residues, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and then PCBs using GC, HPLC, GCMSMS. So Paul, you are welcome to take us through the first part of our session before we go for the health break. Paul, please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Geoffrey. Although it was a long introduction, but I think I'm okay with it. All right. The question I want us, all the participants, to know is, why are we really talking about this crop pest combination? Is it really an important issue? It is, because there is a need for us to come out with MRLs, that's the maximum residue levels, for some crop pest combination. As Michael and Derek stated, the issue of minor use and specialty crop is an issue, especially within the African sector. So we need to do something about it. And luckily, the Minor Use Foundation has come out to help us in this way. And through that process, participants or countries were asked to nominate their crop pest issue, which was done. And the rankings were done. And for us, it's now time for us to look at it. Whether we agree to that or we have to change, as Michael said. So we're going to look at the fruits and nuts. And the fruit and nuts, during the ranking, In terms of number of points that came up, the first ranking was papaya, which has a total points of 195, which is the highest rank. And the pest issue is mealybug. And the countries that expressed interest was Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Senegal, Uganda. If you look at it, the possible solution to solve this issue of papaya mealybug is sulfoxaflor. At the moment, this sulfoxaflor does not have existing Codex MRL, although it's registered in Africa for some other commodities, is not registered for papaya or mealybug. So looking at the priorities that came out from participants are of the view that this should be the first priority. And if it is, then we will have to rank it as a number one priority so that we can forward the information to the global minor use so that it will help in coming out with MRL for papaya using sulfoxaflor. So I want to know from participants whether we agree with the rankings of papaya being the first with mealybug, or we think it's not an issue. So maybe it probably has to go to a second or third priority. So the floor is open. I don't know whether participants can come out and comment on this, on that particular proposed ranking. If there is no comment, then maybe I will assume that we'll consider that one as a first priority. Any comment from any participants? Please, if you have any comment, you can raise your hand, then it can be discussed. If not, we probably will go ahead with that as the first priority. So does participants agree to that? If that is the case, then probably, Sharon, you can probably put it as one as our first workshop ranking. Okay, so then in that case, if we are true with that, then we'll look at the second ranking based upon the votes that were cast. It was mango, which is the second, and mango, looking at it, the pest issue was the fruit flies, and we have fruit flies, and that one to countries that express interest was Burkina Faso, Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, and Senegal. They express interest that this particular issue is of high priority to them. Through search that was done, we noticed that there is a solution, and the solution here we have spinosad and citronipolline, which is also used in, yes, for fruit flies. If you look at it, the spinosad has no MRL. No MRL has been set for spinosad, but for the citronipolline, that one, there is an existing MRL which is available. So I don't know whether we all agree that, yes, it could be a second priority, but we will look at coming out with maybe the spinosad. That will be an area which a project has to be set so that we can get MRL for that, for mango fruit flies. Any comment on that?
Paul, I think there was a question about the mealybug in the chat,
All right. Okay. So
asking if
mealybug.
this species is the same across the 6 countries that voted for papaya.
I think the mealybug that was voted, it seems, if we, just a minute, if we go to the column 24, column 24 down, we also notice that we have another mealybug there with a different species. And per the solution that has been suggested, it's also successful. So it's possible that can be combined since they are going to solve the same problem. So the ranking 13 can be added to the ranking 1 so that it will be a 1 problem for us. I don't know that question. My answer to this question will solve the problem. From Herbert.
Yeah,
Herbert.
yeah, it was just a question of clarity, whether we are talking about the same species.
Yeah.
You know, there are several species come up, and are we talking about tackling the same species of the mealbug or different? But yeah, you've got a right answer. I think that shows that we are talking. The solution is the same, so that's okay.
All right, thank you very much for that. So at the moment, the ranking for the 13 is now part of 1. So we solved that problem. So we're looking at, as I said, the second ranking, which is the mango fruit flies. And if you, okay, so we are looking at it having 2 actives. One already, there is an existing MRO. The one that has no MRO, is the spinosyn. So I don't know whether we will agree that a project should be done in this area for MRO to be set. It's a second priority. We agree if it's a second priority, yes, then we'll note it as a second priority. Then if possible, a project can be, yes, proposed for spinosyn on that. Any question on that? So, do we agree?
So Paul, can you restate your proposal to the group based on the information being shown on the screen?
So, okay, so Sharon, there's the proposal, yes, 2 there. If participants agree that that should be the second priority, we can propose that. But looking at it, going through the list, you could see that fruit flies have, as Herbert asked, there are other species. And we have it in, I will say, when you go to column 17, there is also another fruit fly there with a different species. So we can, the 18. So we notice that that could also be considered as a priority 2, so that we'll combine it together with the priority 2 that has been set already. Then we have column 11 also have similar Column 11, yes, also have mango with a fruit fly, which a solution is there, which is spinosad. So we can consider all of them as priority 2. So I want to find out from participants, are we okay with that one as a second priority, or there's a possible solution somewhere which has not been captured? So mango fruit flies, spinosad. So we'll propose that, yes, there should be a project. We'll suggest to minor use so that a project can be developed. And if you look at the countries that are expressing interest, we have Burundi, we have Ghana, Kenya, Mozambique, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda. So all these countries are countries that have expressed interest in a project along that line. So that's, we're considering it as a second priority. Then we'll move on to any question. I'm not seeing any question in the chat. So maybe I have to move on to the third ranking, which is banana with fusil.
I have a quick question.
Okay. Thanks.
This is Billy Annan from FMC.
Okay.
So I thought the meeting was starting at 8, so I just joined. What did you do with Mango Road 10? I see the voting. Does that mean it's been accepted with Santranile Pro?
The mango
Santranile Pro.
Santranile Pro already have it has an MRO.
Okay.
Existing
Okay.
MRO.
Yes.
So if
I
there's
see.
existing MRO,
Mhm.
I don't know whether we have to develop a project along that line. Maybe Michael can come in this area.
Michael and also my colleague Claudia Nunes, because we talked about this. It's our product, so that's why I'm interested. And I'm sorry I'm taking you back because I should have come earlier. I thought it was starting at this hour. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you for your comments. This is Michael.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, we appreciate your interest, and I think we can have discussions on maybe how you might want to develop efficacy data needed for registration. Of course, I don't think we would need residue data. As Paul mentioned, there's already Codex MRL, unless a specific country needed residue data.
Yeah. And my colleague Claudia has just texted that you're looking for products that don't have codex. So okay.
That's our preference, but we would like to know of all products so that the group can consider whether or not they want to encourage registration in their country if it doesn't currently exist, and then development of efficacy data to facilitate local registrations or in-country registrations.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Okay, so any question, please? So Michael, looking at your suggestion, I think that particular product is even registered in some countries, Kenya, Morocco, Senegal, and South Africa. So as you suggested, maybe if I'm not seeing any, okay, Senegal is in West Africa, maybe other countries within the African continent who want to use that product has to register it, because and it will help solve the problem with the fruit fly issue. So maybe some form of efficacy data probably might be required before the registration is done in country.
Yes, and I wanted to add that the formulation that has been registered, as you mentioned,
Yes.
it's the same active ingredient, but the formulation is different because on the other crops we don't have a fruit fly bait, if you will, that it's a specialized formulation. But we have it now and would like to develop that for the use across fruit flies because the active has a very good profile on all dipteran species. And for these fruit flies, we have the tephrated flies, which include the mango fruit fly, Bactrocera dorsalis, and also on citrus ceratitis. Across the spectrum, our data around the world shows that it's a very good product across every fruit fly that we've tested it on. So I think, maybe I'll consult my company colleague, Claudia and Michael, because I know you are just, you're in the US where we can go with this, because personally, I would like to see Cyanotraniliprole Pro considered for these projects.
All right. Thank you very much. Then can I suggest that maybe we'll make that one as the second priority, then the spinosad will be a third priority?
Claudia, what do you think? Because I don't want to usurp the system that has been discussed already. Does that sound reasonable?
Paul, my suggestion is that within a crop and pest combination, I think we should keep it all the same ranking, and then we can decide within the particular solutions later
Okay.
which
All right.
one and how we want to move forward with them.
That makes sense.
Okay. So thank you very much. So as suggested, we'll make sure that it's part of the second ranking. Thank you for the inputs. All right, so then we'll go on to the third ranking, mango, which at the moment there is no possible solution. So maybe that one, the ranking probably might go down, except we have some solution from the manufacturers. Any comment on that? All right, so if we have no solution, then maybe we have to, for now, let it go down, as Michael suggested. The ranking probably, it's of interest, but there's no solution at the moment. So we'll move on to the fourth ranking, which has coffee skills. It's on the fourth ranking. There is a solution, so first floor, MRL has been set. It's also registered. So if you look at it, there is a solution. So we can't propose for a new work to be done, except we think it's not solving the problem. But since already there is an existing solution, maybe that particular ranking can also be sent down. And yes, we'll move on to the next, except I can hear comments from participants. If there is no comment, then now the next one is Sarah. Okay, Sarah has raised the hand.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just a clarification why we are sending that down, coffee scales, because although there is an MRL, we would require efficacy data so that we can have a registration on that one. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So there's a need for some efficacy data. So do we rank this? Michael, any
Michael, would
suggestion?
you like to?
Yeah,
Would you like
any
to weigh in,
suggestion?
Michael? Well, you know,
I would say
here comes
let's
Michael.
let's
Okay.
come to a conclusion on the banana fusarium and put a ranking on that and then work on the coffee. So I think we need to come to a conclusion on the banana fusarium.
Yeah, the banana fusarium, I think I said that at the moment, we don't have any solution.
Right.
And based upon that, if there is no solution, can we rank it now, or we will leave it and later work on? But I want participants to come in at this juncture. Since there is no solution, all right. So
Okay.
maybe that is my suggestion, but participants can come and advise that maybe we have to run. Because right now we've done the ranking for the first and the second. Any question on that or any suggestion? So a question mark has been put there since there's no solution. Then the next one, which is on the priority in terms of the ranking, is coffee for skills, which is a first floor. My suggestion has come that there's a need for efficacy trial to be done. Michael, I want to know, I thought that one we will let the manufacturers work on, or will it be part of the minor use work?
Yeah, so I can come in here quickly. The goal of this priority setting exercise is to identify projects for data generation for Codex MRLs. So while we can note the interest in efficacy projects, that probably doesn't drive the ranking and priority setting process here, which is really focused on data generation for Codex rather than local registrations. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, thank you very much. And I hope, was it Stella or it was Sarah? Sarah, yes, Sarah. Sarah, please, are you okay with the?
Yeah, it's clear now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next one we're looking at is avocado. So we'll put a question mark. Okay, also. Then avocado and anthracnose. Here we have Adevet, which is a proposed solution. There is no MRL. Registration of active ingredient, no. The issue is an issue in Ethiopia. Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya has expressed interest. And looking at the ranking is on the 5th. So based upon that, we can probably propose that the Minor Use Foundation look at it if a data can be generated in this area for the African continent. So I don't know whether we'll make it as a 3rd priority. Any question? So that is that.
I would maintain it at 5 still, so to go through the whole list and see how.
We maintain it at 5.
At 5, yeah.
Really? Because right now, I think the 3 and 4.
We just come early. Maybe mango fruit flies may come faster. I'm just thinking, yeah.
Okay, so in your view, okay. But for now, we can make it 3. After going through, look at it again. If there'll be a movement again, that will be more. Because we've already assigned 1 and 2. That is how I see. The set participant of the view that we should put the ranking 5 days. We've already assigned 1 and 2, so the next one will be 3. Based upon the ranking, that is the fit. So we need to capture it at the 3rd now. Then we will move on to mango. Any question? Mango. No, I think that one. Okay, mango anthracnose. That one is also the 6th priority. Here we have 2 actives. One is azostrobin, copper hydroxide, then adamantine. If you look at it, azostrobin has an existing MRL. So the one that has no MRL is the adamantine. So maybe the proposal will be to make it as the 4th priority, the 4th priority or 4th ranking. For the 2, since we've agreed that is mango and anthracnose is an issue. So all, yes, later we'll look at it. That is my suggestion. Any comments? Yes, participants should come if there are issues with the suggestion based upon the rankings that we had now. Okay, then I'll move on to, we've already finished with the mango fruit fly. So the next one will be avocado. Phytophthora. That one, looking at it, there is no MRL for all the 2 actives identified. There is no MRL. There's a question mark in existence. So there's no MRL. So that could be the 5th priority. Is it 5th or 4th? Is it Sharon? Okay, 5th. That could be the 5th priority. Any comment on that before we move on to the next? Does participants agree with that? That should be the 5th priority? Then we'll move on to avocado skills. We have sulfoxaflor, which has an existing MRL. So in this case, there's no need for us to generate any data on that. So we can skip to the 9th priority per this ranking, which is also avocado with bags. That one, we don't have any solution. We don't have any solution now. So I don't know, maybe we'll put a question mark on it. And we will put a question mark because there is no solution now.
Paul.
Yes, please.
This is Billy again. This is Billy again.
Okay.
This is Billy. So
yes.
the species Helopeltis is the same as, you know, the one on cocoa that we, in your language, Paul, you call it akati. So, so there should be some solutions from cocoa that may need to be evaluated, but it's the same species, it's Helopeltis.
So in that case, that means there is a solution.
Well, I don't know what is registered where, but wherever cocoa is grown, that Helopeltis is a problem, you know. I know in Ghana there were some existing problems, but I don't know if the registration.
Michael, your view on that?
Yeah, well, I think that I think the comments mean that it is certainly a pest of importance. So I think it really would be helpful if there are any registrants that can speak to active ingredients that might be able to manage this pest. I noticed there's sulfoxaflor for scales, but I don't know if the registrant can comment on its potential for activity on this pest.
And Paul, I mean, Michael, that's a good comment. My only addition is that, I don't know which registrants are here, but some of them, when the product, I don't know sulfoxaflor specifically, but if the product is off patent, it may be generics that are holding the registrations. And if they are not here, it might be difficult to comment. But I don't think sulfoxaflor is off patent, so whoever is representing the registering company can make the comment.
All right, thank you very much. Any comment from participants on this issue?
But Michael, before we conclude on the issue of sulfoxaflor, I saw Carmen was registered, and I think she would comment on this. Carmen from Conteva.
Geoffrey, you want
so
a
maybe
comment on the, okay, sorry, Michael.
if you can show the pest again.
I'm saying Carmen is attending this workshop. She is from Conteva, which is responsible for.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Put a comment here.
All right, so I think Karen wants to talk, so let's give him the floor.
Just briefly here, Carmen, just to confirm, when the list of priorities was published, we didn't know anything beyond the word bugs. And if we don't have a scientific name, we cannot say if there is a solution or not from the registrant. So now that you have confirmed the scientific name of the bugs, what was described as bugs, I will have to go back to our biology experts and ask them if sulfoxaflor or any other molecule will control the specific species by the scientific name. So if you want to put this like a pending action, I will have to confirm in a day or two. I cannot do it instantly. Sorry about that.
All right, so then so Michael, what do we do to this? Should we make it is that sixth priority or?
Well, since that doesn't have a solution, I would tend to rank the avocado scale above that.
Because at the moment, the avocado scale has an existing MRO. So the idea was, yes.
Okay, maybe that part was hidden. Oh, okay.
It has an existing MRO.
You might not get connection. I do. Okay.
It has an existing MRO. So
did we have another one with a question mark further up?
Excuse me, this is Carmen. Can I make an observation?
Okay, you can come in, Carol.
Thank you, Paul. My suggestion is if you go by crop and then one species, that can be a project that later on will incorporate other pests. Can be added later.
The question was not clear to me. Well, maybe Michael, did you understand the suggestion from Carol?
I couldn't hear it very well because of that background noise.
Carmen, are you able to say that again?
Carol, can you come again with your suggestion?
Yeah, Dr. Moore.
Yes, sorry, I'm at the hospital and I cannot speak
Oh,
very well.
sorry.
But I was just saying that, if you choose one crop and one pest, you can always add other pests later on, when the study protocol it's been conducted. So that's what we do as registrants when we do studies. We try to incorporate use patterns or recommendations for several different species. So we are going to do the most intensive use pattern that will cover several different pests. So you could eventually consolidate in one study on one crop several different pests.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Carmen. That was clear.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. So do we propose that we use that one as a, since there's an issue and there's a possible solution, can we make it a sixth priority? That is my suggestion. Does participants agree? Okay, then let's move on to the next. Since I'm not seeing any hand raised or any comments, my assumption is that we agree. Then we'll move on to coffee. We already have an existing MRL. So that one is also not going to be, yes, worked on, although it's a priority 9. We'll move on to the next. The next one, we also have another coffee with blend. That one, there is also no solution to it now. Okay, Mary Lucy has hand raised. Can we let Mary
Okay.
Lucy? Okay.
Thanks, Paul. I raised my hand at some point. Sorry, you didn't see it and I put it down. I wanted to comment on the avocado on the bag.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Yes, I think the scientific name has now been given. So it's the same bag which we have in tea called the mosquito bag. So if there's a product probably being used on it in tea, this could be something. I know now there's no product, but we are very keen on it. It's a key pest, so avocado.
All right. Thanks for the inputs. So can we go on? Since we've agreed that yes, this part is a sixth priority, we'll work on it and come out of it. Then the next one was the coffee blend. That one has no solution. I don't know whether the experts can guide us whether there is a solution to this. Since there is no comment, we'll move it down in terms of the ranking. We'll move on to mango millibag. That one, I know there is yes in process. There's an MRO which has been proposed for sulfurous floor, and hoping that at the next CAC session, it will be approved. So there is an existing MRO, so maybe we can skip that one also. Then we'll move on to avocado. I think that one is the same. I think it's similar to up there. We had another avocado. Let me see, on the 12th and the 12th and 13th row. Okay, so we gave it, yes, that ranking. So it's the same thing. So maybe we'll capture it there. We'll add it to it. Yes, thanks. Then we move on to passion. passion fruit, anthracnose, advert is there, but has no MRL. So we can propose that it should be the next priority. The next priority. So Sharon, what will be the next priority number? 7. Okay, good. The next one is, I think mango. We worked on it. Okay. Have we not worked on mango? Yeah, we worked on it. 8 and 9, column 8 and 9. Column 8 and 9. So we gave it 4. So it's the same, yes, by different species. So we can, that would be also 4. Mango, yes, 4. So the last one, which will be guava, fruit fly, we have 2 actives which has no MRL. So the proposal will be to make it an 8th priority. So going through the list, this is what. Hello.
Paul,
Yes, please.
so considering citronellipol again,
Yes.
I don't think, from my point of view, in terms of the technical fit, it will be the same as we discussed for mango, because the guava fruit fly, I mean, if there's a need for solution, citronellipol is a very good fit.
Yes, and there is no MRL. So yes, some data has to be generated in this area. So it's a good, as you are saying, it's a good project that we need to work on. So right now we are through. We've done the ranking. We'll probably go through and see whether we have to move some up, down again, or we will agree with the rankings that we've done. We started with the voting ranking, which we had it in that order. We are through by, yes, this workshop. So we'll start again, whether we want mango fruit flies to move to the first ranking, or the way the ranking has been done, we are okay with it. So I need suggestion from participants.
From my point of view, and sorry, maybe I'm talking so much, but with my familiarity of Bactroceras dorsalis on mango, it is, and the nature of the mango fruit, right?
Yes.
And the fact that mango is a big export commodity, around the world, particularly if you look at this time of the world where, first of all, the northern countries don't grow mangoes, but even if they did, during this season, the winter season, a lot of mango fruit comes from southern countries. So I think we have to rank it high. It's a big quarantine pest, and I have read about how that pest, because of that pest, a lot of shiploads of mangoes from, a few years ago, it was Kenya to South Africa that was stopped. So, I mean, if I had a vote, I would say make it number 1, if that's my thought.
Okay, thank you very much. That is a suggestion from the participants. If we agree, we'll move it to 1, then probably move papaya to 2. Any comment on the suggestion that has been made?
I think it's also, and I know you can do everything, but it's also tricky because if it's swapping one for the other, whoever is producing papaya may not be happy if you downgrade, their ranking. But certainly mango, and remember, for the Africa region, mango is also in China, in India, in other countries where I know a lot of solutions are being worked on. So if we don't step this project up in Africa, we may be, affecting how solutions in Africa may make a change for the growers.
All right. So thanks for the suggestion. So that's why I'm proposing that we'll change it. Yes, because as you said, if you look at it, the fruit fly issue is we have a lot of different pests. So it's an issue in Africa and we need to look at it. So that has moved. So the mango fruit fly has now moved up, with the papaya being second. Any other suggestion?
I have a suggestion.
Okay, thank
for
you.
For those which you don't have any proposed solutions at all, you move all those down to the bottom.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I mean,
Sharon-
I recognize the importance of the crop and the pest, but if we don't have a solution, then we don't really have a viable path to have a project.
Yes. Okay. I agree
But
with Michael.
again, I respect the votes and the importance of the people that voted that way for those particular priorities.
All right. Thanks for the suggestion. And I agree with you, Michael, perfectly. If there is no solution, we're hoping that a solution will be found maybe in the near future so that, yes, as we move on, it can move up. So please. Okay.
So what that would mean would be for all the ones that you don't have a number already assigned.
Yes.
My suggestion would be to assign the number sequentially for the ones that at least have a potential solution. And the ones that don't have a potential solution, you rank below those.
Okay. So I think Sharon, so the ones with solution, you said the ones with solution, we should rank them. Okay. Michael, can you come again? I was not clear about the suggestion that you make in terms of.
So we've already ranked a number of the priorities. So what I'm suggesting is that the next group of priorities should be ones that we haven't assigned anything to as far as a workshop ranking.
Yes.
That at least have a solution. And then below that, put the ones that don't have the solution.
Okay. Okay. So I think Sharon is doing what you suggested. Okay.
Michael, can I make a proposal also?
Sure. Yes, you can.
Yeah, my proposal is where we don't have Codex MRL, they go up. Where a product is registered in a country, the country, it goes up. Where a product does have a Codex MRL and is registered, I think those ones come down so that we focus the discussions on the products without Codex MRLs and products which are registered. Then if we can confirm among the countries who are having interest, which are the countries where these products are being registered, because some of them I see their registration status, yes, but which country? So that makes the whole work a bit easier.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion. And can I, at this juncture, looking at the time at my disposal, I was supposed to take this session up to 40, that's 40 hours, and it's almost this time.
Well, I'm proposing we go for a health break of 10 minutes and then we resume on the second part. Is that okay, Paul?
I have no problem. Maybe we can do that. So in the next 10 minutes, we'll come back. Then we'll move on to the next commodities.
Yeah, we'll go for a health break of 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 minutes, members. Let's go for health break of 10 minutes up to according to the East African time, is 1540. Then we resume at 1550.
50. All right, thank
Yeah,
you very much.
Yeah. So 10 minutes break, and then we go to the second part of our session.
Okay, thanks.
Through prioritization of agronomics, vegetables, and herb crops. So Paul, please.
All right, thank you very
Take
much.
us through, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Geoffrey. Yeah, so we're looking at the vegetables and the session. For the first priority, per the voting, yes, we noticed that the top rank was tomato leaf miner. Tomato leaf miner. And looking at it, there are solutions for this particular tomato leaf miner. We have all the possible solutions having Codex MRLs. They all have Codex MRLs. So I don't know whether it will still be of a priority, or if there are some other potential solution that can help in our region, participants can bring it out. Because we have existing, I think one, I think one of them, so 3 has solutions, the other one has no solution. That is profanilin, which has no MRL for tomatoes leaf miner. So yes, per the ranking, it was one of the highest, 112 points. So the proposal will be for us to get MRL for that particular. So a data can be generated. So the proposal now is to rank it 1 as it goes with the voting that was done. Although there are some existing MRLs, this one is there, so we can still rank it and put 1 there, except participants think differently from my suggestion. Any comments on the suggestion that I've made? That yes, tomato leaf miner, yes, yes. We have about 4 possible solutions. The 3 all have MRL. The 4th one had no MRL, so we can generate data in this area. So we'll propose that one to the global miners use.
And Paul, I'll suggest again for Central Nilipro, generate some data, because leaf miners, like other diphtheria, is the strong point, one of the strong points of this product. So I'll give you the same vote as we gave on the fruit flies. Or maybe higher, 1 in this case, if possible. In fact, you may only need to do it. I mean, the data in other countries, I mean, can help, but it will be a short-term a short-term process from testing to where the data will be accepted and solutions provided. I know you're doing this already, but the way I look at these instances, not just what, and sorry, Michael, I'm not speaking for minor use, but in my mind, one, how we can get solutions in the grower's hands very quickly, but also the fact that sometimes this thought came to my mind. If a grower is growing tomatoes and let's say mangoes, just to use those two examples, we need to tie them up together in the sense that if you give them a solution for tomato but not for mango, it may not help. So we need something we call the enterprise model, where you provide solutions for the grower for almost everything that they need. That helps them so that for the income earning, they don't just have to focus on one, you know, and then in the off season they can do the other. I'm just saying a lot, but the short answer is that I will rank tomato for Central Pro, tomato leaf miner very high.
All right. Newton. Okay, Sarah's hand is up.
Thank you. My thinking would be different. Now that the possible solutions, we already have MRS established. Can we first go down and look at other crops and problems? That's my proposal.
Okay, that's the proposal. So Sarah, your view is that we should not rank tomato minor as the first priority.
Yes. Because from the presentation, most possible and good solutions already have an MRL set for tomatoes.
Okay. But per the rankings, that was the first priority. But as I said, yes, we'll go through the others, and if we have to come back, we'll look at that one. Okay. So we'll wait on that. We'll move on to the second priority. The second priority is tomato white flies. Then that one too, there is an existing MRLs for the white flies. So do we skip? Yes, there is an existing MR, there's an existing MRO for that. So, and yes.
Yes. At the risk of talking too much, my comment will be the same. White flies are not. Well, the same as I said for Central Pro, very, very efficacious. So if you capture it somewhere, then the ranking can be decided based on that, even if there is an existing MRO, you know. I forgot what comment you put for the leaf mine, but you can put the name here.
Okay, so we need to get enterprise solution for the multiple crops.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also the fact high efficacy and a short-term solution will be helpful.
All right. Okay, so for now, we'll move on to the third priority or the third ranking. Let me put third ranking, which we have chili pepper moth. That one too, there is an existing. Any, please, I'm hearing some. Any question or any? Oh, okay. Chili pepper. We have an existing MRL for spinotrum. So that one too, there's no need for us to generate data. So we can probably move on to the next. The next one is tomato, which has a bacteria. The possible solutions are copper Otherwise, no single pesticide has shown 100% efficacy in controlling so far. Michael, what's your suggestion on this? Tomato bacteria.
So copper does not have a Codex MRL for any crop. They just don't happen to set them for copper. And I would agree that it is a very difficult pest to control, and I don't think there are any other solutions. And I assume that copper is available pretty much in every country.
Yeah. Okay, so this one
So-
question mark.
Yeah, I think it's probably towards the bottom, but can
Okay.
decide that as the group decides.
So put a question mark. The next one is cassava whitefly. It also have an MRL for support floor. So we also probably will not work on that. We'll move on to baby corn. That's that's 4 armyworm. It also have an MRL for that. So we'll leave. The next one is the eggplant with a fruit borer. Spinotram has no MRL. So this could be a possible solution or a possible project that has to be worked on. So do we make it that one as one?
Yeah, Paul, I think let's move it up, yes, because it has no Codex MRL and it is registration.
So that should
Yeah.
be one. Okay.
Yeah, let's move it up.
Okay, so
Well,
for now that's
do you really want to rank it higher than a crop that has a higher priority and also has at least one solution that does not have a Codex MRL? In other words,
Okay.
there's an opportunity for broflanilide for the Tuda absoluta. So I would say this is probably number 2.
okay.
But I mean, if the group disagrees, that's fine. I'm just saying that, if you combine the ranking of the priority and
Wait.
the fact that they both have at least one solution without a Codex MRL, I certainly would move it up. And
Okay.
my suggestion would be
Yeah.
number 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay, it's okay. Yes, okay.
So we'll make it number 2. All right. Then the other one, as you are saying, will be 1. Agreed. Potato wire worms, no solution. No solution to that. So we'll put a question mark.
So, Paul, again, this is Liliana. In that category above,
Yes.
yes. I know when we were proposing projects, I was, Michael sent me an email. I was very confused how we choose this. So, I left it to my colleague, Claudia, to do that. But I would say if I look at the pests and the crops in that category I think it's from 7 to, if you go up, all of them apart from, no, if you go up, ending with, okay, so from 8 through 13, the only one that I will accept Cyanotranilipro will be row 9. So we don't have MRLs for the rest. Can we at least capture the comment that there's high efficacy of Cyanotranilipro, but if there is room and resource to do some of the other crops, so pepper moths, cassava whiteflies especially, armyworms in corn, fruit borer, leucinodes in eggplant, and potato wireworms. If you can capture the comment at the end, that maybe we need to, I think, put it in the box, column S, as you've done for the rest, and mention potential evaluation of Cyanotranilipro. Just as a comment, don't
No.
create a row.
No, Stella, can you delete that one? And as you said, the comment, it should be at the notes. At the notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So on row 8, you can say evaluate cyanotraniliprole as potential solution. And for row 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Because the product has a good fit. Not that row, the rest below that. Yeah. No, not that one.
not that one, the next one. Cassava.
Yeah,
The cassava fruit fly.
All the others until row 13. Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
So no. So row 13, no. Are we adding the tomato?
No, 13, yes. 13, yes. The
Yes,
only no,
13.
yes, the only one that's no is row 9.
Row 9. Okay. Okay, thanks for the suggestion. Then, so if I agree, we have the second priority, which is the eggplant. Then we move on to beans, French beans, which we have leaf miner. At the moment,
Same comment as I gave before for cyanotraniliprole. Same comment.
Pardon? The same comment for.
We talked about leaf miners first, and yes.
Okay, so
and I'll rank this high because it's a good product for these segments.
okay, it's okay. We'll do the ranking, but as we said, there is an existing MRO.
Sure.
So, you know, there's an existing MRO for the leaf miner for the French beans.
I'm sure there is. That's why it needs a second pass of discussion as to, what kind of work we need to do. Yeah. So, but it's a good solution. So let's capture that.
Okay. So it has been captured that yes, we need to look at enterprise solution for multiple crops. Okay, that has been captured. Good. So in this case, maybe after the initial ranking, we'll send this up, and when we are through with the rankings, then we'll probably add that one on. So Sharon, we probably will have to look at the chili bacteria. That one, no solution. So we'll put a question mark. And for bacteria, as Michael suggested, I don't know whether copper, Michael, will copper be used in this stage or this? Hello, Michael.
I'm sorry, I was trying to unmute. So your question was for the copper bacteria?
Yes, for the chili, pepper chili bacteria. Copper,
Okay.
can copper also be used? I'm just asking because you said no solution.
Yes, it can. We're not, again, we're not likely to have that as a project since copper is so broadly labeled, and there's there's not apparently a path for a registrant to be willing to pursue Codex MRL. So it's still something that's not likely to become a project.
Okay, so we'll put a question mark on. Sharon, we'll put a question mark on that, the chili pepper. So question mark. Then we'll go to cabbage mold. Cabbage mold, there is an existing MRO. So we have to move on to the next.
Same comment. Comment. Yeah.
Same comment. Okay.
Yeah.
So the comment that other short term. Okay. So maybe Sharon, you can copy that one and just paste. Okay.
But I think what that comment means is, even though there's Codex MRLs, we can, if there's room, do some trials to see how we can speed up, entry into that segment.
Oh, please kindly come. So here there is an MRO, existing
That's right.
MRO.
That's
But
right.
you want us to generate more data.
No, whatever can be done. That's why I said short term, an assessment that can, because the MRL may be for a different pest, okay, than what we are listing. Well, in the same crop, but the pest may be different. So how is it translatable? So it's just a comment to generate further evaluation by minor use to see how we approach it. All I'm giving now is where the product has a good fit. So there may be MRLs, but in the crop for a different pest.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll move on to tomato phytophthora. There is an MRO, existing MRO, so we'll skip that one. French beans, rust. There is an existing MRO. Okra. Yes, there's no MRO, but there is a solution. So that could probably will be the third. Somebody come in.
Sounds good.
Pardon?
Sounds good. Third, yeah,
Okay.
I
Third.
agree. I would agree.
Then the next one. We
And maybe
have
you could
the,
skip down to the one where you have the, it's hidden on mine. There's the Adavelt product.
which one? Which row?
Yeah, the bean that also
beans.
has no, yeah, dry
Okay,
bean.
so okay.
So you
that
have a
one-
solution with no Codex
No, but-
MRL, so that should probably be 4.
No, but the beans, there is one sulfur floor, but there is no MRO. Is it possible? The 24 beans, Ethis,
Yes.
there is no MRO.
I don't
Oh.
know if Carmen is online or I can try to look that up.
So should we make that one 4? Because
I think it's a question mark saying maybe they're not sure. I think needs looking up, could be somewhere there. Yeah,
so
because
do we rank it or we don't?
I would rank it where there's a no higher than that one, where there's a question mark.
Yes,
Okay, so the no should, okay, so that one will be 4.
I know is clearer.
5. That one will be 5. Okay. Then looking at ginger. Ginger bacteria, there's no solution. So question mark. The rest all have solutions. So maybe we'll go down and let's see. Okay, so we have garlic. Garlic. There's no, okay. We have MRLs on beans and not necessarily due to beans, but trips and from, please, I've seen let me just, there is a comment that has come on the chat box. We have MRLs on beans and not necessarily due to beans, but trips and whitefly.
Sorry, I made a note due to aphids.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that is in the Kenyan context.
Okay.
Yes.
So which row are we looking at? Okay, that's it. Okay, so I think we've ranked it, or it has been ranked. Yeah, it has been ranked as a fit. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, so you already have that right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it has been
Because I was
ranked.
going to say, I looked up sulfoxaflor, and if you're talking about like a French bean here, then it does not have a Codex MRL. There's a Codex MRL on dry beans for sulfoxaflor, but not on
Fresh.
any, fresh beans.
So Kenya,
Michael, normally beans, we say bean succulent because it goes under fruiting vegetables, bean succulent. So that's where we need to cross-check in the crop grouping.
yeah, because if it's dry pulse, it will not be here. So here it will be probably fresh. Okay, but Kenya, maybe Kenya is looking at fresh beans. Alex?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Jeffrey used the more correct term of succulent beans. But what I'm saying is that there's no Codex MRL for sulfoxaflor on succulent beans, or the only Codex MRL that exists for sulfoxaflor in any type of bean is on dry bean.
Okay, so in that case, then the ranking.
There's no MRL for succulent beans.
Okay, so in that case, we should make the beans aphids as the first, fourth, then the beans dry as fifth. Because if you look at, okay, they are all 13. In terms of the ranking, they were all 13. So let's make that one 4 and this one 5. Do we agree? Lucy?
Hello.
Lucy's yeah.
Sorry, thank you, Chair. I wonder, since indeed there is the MRL for beans dry, and I'm imagining, Michael, I stand corrected, whether it is possible to actually do a bridging study, given that we have beans dry already. Would we raise this at a higher level so that we actually have MRL?
That's a
or not?
possibility, but I don't, unfortunately, we don't have that information at this time to help make a decision. You know, both of them, both of the bean priorities have a solution without a Codex MRL. So I would say I think 4 and 5 is fine.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to impact the ranking.
All right. Then I think we are through with that, so probably we'll go down to, yes, please.
Not so fast, you're not through yet.
Well.
On 24, I will add, because I don't believe we have MRLs for cyanotraniliprole, so if you can add that. Okay, so that could also be okay. It could be a possible solution. It is a solution, but if there's no MRL, that may need a row of its own. It's not okay. So Sharon, can you create a row for that one? 24, that's the beans, okay. So 25 will be cyanotraniliprole.
Or you could just note cyanotraniliprole as a possible solution. This is for beans on aphids, for aphids on beans. Aphids, whiteflies, thrips, so the whole complex, if they are chewing pests too, for that whole complex. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so cyanotraniliprole does not have a Codex MRL.
Yes,
on
that's
beans.
Cyanotraniliprole.
Well, it has it on dry beans and shelled beans.
Okay.
I just wanted to row so that it's not mixed in with sulfoxaflor, because I don't know sulfoxaflor, so it might be better to have a row on its own.
Okay.
Okay. So
So I think that's it, and then Paul, give it a ranking. That's about all you need.
Well, I think we rank based on the crop pest combination, not necessarily on the solution.
yeah, so 4. They all
I understand. Yeah, so it should be the same as sulfoxaflor. That's what.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for the input. Now we'll move on to The next one will be ginger, I think. The rest all have MRLs. So we are looking, is it ginger? Yes. There is no solution. It's okay, question mark. Then the next one will be garlic.
Lucy has raised her hand, Paul. Lucy.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Lucy, kindly.
Hey, thank you, Paul. I'm wondering, I'm looking at Kenya and okra. What happened there? I thought we had initially indicated some interest in okra. Sorry, this is taking you back to 28. Similar to what you have as, you know, Ghana.
Yes.
Did we not have any interest in the okra? Okra was one of the commodities. It is more on, oh, right.
No, but there's an MRO. That is what is left is probably the registration. It has to be registered.
The efficacy. Okay.
Yeah, for efficacy, which has not been done. So if you look at Codex as an MRO for that one, so we need to register it in country.
And Lucy, that's a good point. You might be recalling previous conversations. I know that in Dirk's presentation this morning, he mentioned we have a general interest in okra. Michael, did you want to speak to that potential project?
Yeah, so since we have FMC on the line, I know that there was a high interest in is it bifenthrin, I believe it was?
Yes.
And we never got a clear resolution on that.
Hi, Michael. It's Claudia. Hi, it's Claudia from FMC. Regarding bifenthrin, we still are working in Kenya to move forward with the registration of bifenthrin, but so far we do not have news on that process. And that is why we did not reply in terms of a confirmation that we can include okra in the label for registration in Kenya.
All right. I think that issue of bifenthrin, even Ghana also requested that we're prepared to do a project on bifenthrin in Ghana, but we really did not know the outcome from Michael. So yes, Ghana is still interested in doing some project along that line.
And Claudia,
perhaps to follow up, sorry, perhaps just a follow-up. With regards to the bifenthrin, is the registration with regards specifically to okra, or is it with regards to the risk assessment at Codex level?
The specific question that Michael is mentioning is related to the I think the renewal of the registration in Kenya for bifenthrin, allowing the inclusion of new crops as okra in the label. At Codex level, bifenthrin is okay. No concern in terms of the MRL establishment at Codex for bifenthrin.
So then, Lucy, if that's the case, then maybe you can confirm any issues or lack of issues within Kenya and the process of that, because I think FMC is saying they're ready to move forward if Kenya registration was enabled.
But we do see somebody from PCPB, sorry, from Kenya, who can perhaps comment on that. I see Sarah is here. She may have some information, I don't know. Sorry to cut you, Geoffrey.
So is Sarah going to talk, or Geoffrey will talk? Sarah, can you give any comment on your response to the issue on the table?
I missed the question, sorry. Maybe you can repeat, Lucy?
My question was with regards to the prioritization of okra, and in particular with regards to bifenthrin, so that there is clear direction on whether it will go forward or not. And FMC made a submission that they're not sure of what the status is, I think, with regards to registration of bifenthrin. So perhaps that is an area maybe you'd have some information on and can speak to. Thank you.
This is, excuse me, this is Joe. To refresh everyone's memory, we were waiting to hear about a hazard assessment in Kenya and from FMC and the Kenya Regulatory Agency. So I don't know if we've gotten, and maybe that's what you're asking, Lucy, is what's the outcome of that hazard assessment? And then Claudia, if I remember, we were waiting to hear whether FMC they were making a business decision whether it was economical for them to register it in Kenya. It sounds like that's a go, but maybe we're still waiting to hear about the hazard assessment.
Yeah, my understanding is that we are still waiting for the reply from regulators in Kenya about the renewal of this registration in Kenya. And for us, the inclusion of the okra in our label, it's not a problem. It will not be a concern. But if we need to wait for the decision in terms of registrability, the maintenance of the registration in Kenya to move forward with the inclusion.
Got it. Yeah. So we're still waiting, it sounds like.
Yeah, I did not receive any feedback from our colleagues in Kenya.
Okay, what I can say for now is that bifenthrin is one of the molecules that is under review in Kenya, and we don't have an outcome as at now.
Yeah.
So Claudia, shifting back to Ghana, would you agree? Because I don't know, I don't think we have any MRLs with Santranelli to add that to this, because it has a very good fit. For row 28, 30, and 36, Santranelli Pro has very good fit. So Claudia, just your comment as to if we should request at least some assessments by minor use.
I agree that we can, for Cyanotronelli Pro, we can include as a possible solution.
Thank you. So Paul, for row
Yeah.
28, 30, and the last one, 36, you add Cyanotronelli Pro.
Okay, so I think Sharon is doing that.
That's fine. That's fine. And row 30, Sharon, on the army ones. And the last one is the trips last row. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So are we through with the issues up there? So we'll move on to the last but three, garlic. There is no MRL for that. So that could be a priority. Number 6. Then eggplant. I thought we have eggplant up there. Oh, that was okra. Okay. Okay. All right. So that will be 7. Then
Paul?
Yes, please.
Can I make a comment? So
Okay.
if I'm understanding FMC correctly, you're supporting cyanotroniliprole in okra. Is that correct?
Yes, is that correct? But I was double checking the codex. It seems that the okra is included in the fruit and vegetables group. I know that we are discussing a lot at codex level the reclassification and the inclusion of okra, but so far it is showing up as a established MRL. I don't know if you
Correct.
agree or not, Michael.
Correct. That's what I just looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lucy's
But
hand is
pepper,
up.
it's based off of pepper, and as you know, there's like you
Yeah.
said, there's discussion.
Yeah.
So I would say it, technically it does have that Codex MRL, but it's will that Codex MRL hold?
Yeah.
So given the importance of okra, I would put that up pretty high. What did
Okay.
we currently have the okra as?
I
The
think
white fly, we didn't assign that.
we've not assigned because there was an existing MRO already. So we
Well,
can probably make it 6.
but we're talking about an additional product, cyanotroniliprole, which,
Okay.
well, actually, both of them are in the same boat. They both have existing MRLs on fruiting vegetables, but it's a question mark whether or not that MRL is going to hold.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah,
Codex
Michael.
regulations.
Yeah, Michael, in line of the ongoing discussion at Codex, I know JMPR is undertaking the entire review of the database for MRLs for okra, and there is call for more data. I think let's try and push okra up so that we are likely to get in a situation where most of the MRLs for okra might be revoked, and we need to have specific MRLs for this commodity. So I think let's push okra up. That's my proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Likewise, I would support that. Especially given, of course, the discussion at CCPR and given the evaluation that's going on. And also recall that there was call out for data. So if this can be fresh data to look at how the MRL could be set and reevaluation of the subgroup in light of what data is submitted, I think the more products, the better. Different types of products, and also the possibility of actually affirming the status of the existing MRLs. I think okra should really get a higher place than being at the bottom. Thank you.
All right.
I just will add that that's a great comment because, I know there's money involved in doing all these studies, but if we take, a one-leg pony to the show, if there's only one product and it happens that there's resistance, it takes the opportunity away from the growers to use a good product. So it doesn't, where there's more than one product that fits, we have to, and if, especially if they don't have MRLs, we don't have to use one or the other, have both of them, because especially even in its use in the field, sometimes they are using rotations for resistance management. So it doesn't have to be one product. Having said that, rotate 30, I don't understand registration in okra might be revoked. I think it is the fact that it is included in fruiting vegetables. I didn't hear about revocation.
That's correct. It's not the registration. It is maybe the reclassification on okra at Codex.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I think for that one is clear. So right now we need to decide where the ranking, because we already have an okra for Padre Milido, which is the 3rd rank. What do we do? Which is okra? So do we move it to 4, or since we are doing the ranking now? So should it be the agreement that it should go up?
I'm not speaking for all the products, but since they both have some form of MRLs, I think the two products should be ranked the same. Cyanotraniliprole and sulfoxaflor.
Yes, but we've not done ranking yet. So I'm asking participants whether we have to move it to 3 or it should be at 4.
That's the ranking I'm talking about.
Yes, so that ranking, at the moment we have okra, which is also ranked 3 for powdery, mildew. Yeah. So I don't know whether between the two, which one we think is of a high priority. So we'll make this one. Okay, please, participants.
I just want to add a small correction. Number 24 has cyanotraniliprole on okra for mealybugs. I think that should go out because mealybug is not one of the pests this product controls. I wanted it added for row 30, that is on whiteflies, not on mealybug.
Okay, so delete. Thanks. All right, so row 30, so whitefly. So right now we are looking at 30 and 28, 29. So should we rank it 4th? Okay, so let's rank that one.
How is 4th. How can we look at? I see number 21 is ranked 3.
Yes.
And it is still okra, and it's very good because that would be a different chemistry from what we're looking at in cyanotraniliprole and sulfoxaflor.
Yes.
How about, I don't know whether this is done, we have them all as 3.
Okay. So we can, that's the proposal. We can make all of them 3. They are okra, but different. Okay, but the actives are different. The pests are also different. Can we?
Yeah, I think we need to distinguish between and set them distinct from each other.
And Paul, that was why I had a comment, because powdery mildew is a fungus. It's not an insect. But but for whiteflies, sulfoxaflor and cyanotraniliprole are both on an insect. So whatever, that's why I call the ranking. In that column, they should be the same.
All right, so let's make it 4 for the whitefly on okra. Then we change the beans, to 5.
Paul, maybe can we first confirm whether there is a registration status for before we change beans? Because the issue here is there is no Codex MRL for beans, but there's a registration status. So that really, in terms of timing, the time you spend in running an efficacy trial is quite short. You don't spend time on efficacy trial. You instead focus on the residue trial itself. So the same comes to the okra, which if we push it to number 4, remove beans. We need to confirm if there are no Codex MRL, are there registration status for them, so that we see whether we can push them to number 4. That's my proposal.
But at the moment, okra has been moved to number 4. Is the beans that is now 5?
Paul, are you getting me? I'm saying the beans was number 4 because it had no Codex MRL, and there was already a registration status for the active. So literally that means we are not going to spend time in getting a label because there's already a registration for the beans. We are only going to run a residue trial for MRL. So the issue here is when you are looking at okra, if we can get the commitment from the sponsors that yes, there are no Codex MRLs, but these compounds are registered, the compounds they're proposing, then it can either impact on this ranking here, moving it to number 4. But if it's not registered, then it is still an issue for us here.
All right, so let's ask the registrant on this particular issue. whether in terms of registration of the active. Hello?
I believe that Michael said earlier, I think he had to step away, that for sulfoxaflor, and I think Carmen joined as well, rejoined, so maybe she can weigh in too. I believe she said, Michael had said that for French beans, it's already registered in Kenya.
Yeah.
I think there was a question about what kind of
Yes,
beans
that
we
is
were.
true.
Yes. So that one, the succulent beans. So I think it was highlighted somewhere. Yes, it has been, yes, captured there.
Yes.
So please, the rank, okay, let's finish it. We'll come back, and if we need to move things, we have to move. I just want us to go through and finish the last one. Then we'll come and look at whether the rankings that we've done, we agree. So basically, what is left is the last one. Basil, which is tips. There is no MRL, it's registered, so we'll put that 9. Okay. So right now we are through with the rankings per the discussion so far. We'll go back and look at it and see whether we need to move some up or we will not.
Paul, again, not so fast. I will put on basil, Santranelli because I don't think another row for that, because I don't think we have any MRLs.
Okay, all right.
So if
so
you
Sharon, maybe Sharon can do that.
Yeah.
Sharon, another row for that one.
But Paul, again, when you see that basil, there is a very high possibility of it going up because there are no Codex MRLs, and then it is also registered, I think. So we just need to see how we move the ranking up, not from just leaving it at 9.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. So we are going to look at it because in terms of the ranking, it was 15. So we need to decide. So Sharon, can you? Okay, Sarah's hand is up. Sarah.
Yeah,
please
I also
kindly come
wanted
in.
to add, yes, on basil, that is a very important crop in Kenya, and we are having issues, especially with thrips. So if we can move it up, we'll support that. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the suggestion. So let's go. Can we go up and start look at what we've done so far?
hold on,
okay.
Paul. I'm sorry to take you back. Sharon, if you can go down to white flies and okra. Yes, row 28. You've created a row for Santranelli on 29. So take the comment in S out. Yeah.
Okay.
That comment.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks very much. So let's go up and look at whether we'll move things up. So Sharon, can you probably go up?
Hang on just a second. So Ramonda Johnson from Sierra Leone said that, please, I wish to state that Sierra Leone is interested, but I'm not seeing us in the list of countries showing interest on the pest. Could you specify which crop pest combination you're speaking to?
Thank you. We raised concern on the issue of the white fly on the cassava, fallen mealworm on maize, and then looking at the fusarium and the black pod on cacao and fruit fly on the mango. But I'm not seeing, and also the not being part of it, and also looking at the storage pest, like the weevils, which are the storage pests. I'm not saying, I don't know, because my colleague was working on it. I don't know whether if maybe he missed, or I don't know what really happened, but I'm just shocked that I didn't see Sierra Leone. So I was really, really concerned. Yeah.
Well,
Because
there's
even
two
our
parts.
food,
There's
like the papaya and mango for the mealybug, it's also a great concern for us. So I don't know. I don't know why I'm
All
not
right.
saying it.
Thank you very much. I think we've looked at the fruits aspect. We looked at it before. This one, we are handling the vegetables and the nuts. So we've already discussed the fruits and nuts crops. We are now looking at the vegetable and herbs crops. So
Yeah,
I think your issue has been, yes, if you look at the one that we worked on under fruits and nuts, we had mango and the rest there. And
yeah, but even vegetables, we also mention vegetables, like pepper is key for us. And the pepper is very key for us. And then tomato.
It may be that your colleague
I
didn't
will-
participate in the ranking section.
Yeah, so maybe
which
what
was
I will
important.
do, I will get on back to my colleague to see what's happened, and then maybe we try to look at the document and make our inputs again.
Yes, or as we go through the discussion now, if there's something that you think should be ranked more highly or lower than it is, just let us know. But thank you for joining the call so that
all right.
we
Okay.
can have
Thank
the
you very much.
discussion.
Okay. So we can go on and look at the rankings that we did. We started with Cheryl, the first ranking. Oh,
yeah, what I was saying, since now we are moving into the other part of the agenda item, discussion and refinement, I don't know whether Shannon has been able to summarize the different rankings so that we can now discuss them systematically. Verifying the
Geoffrey, I thought, yes, we've done the ranking. Right now, we can probably just scroll through and see whether we agree, whether we need to move one up or down. Then out of it, we can finalize it. Or what's your view?
Yeah, because what I thought when you were saying number one, move there, we had already done that. So Shannon just brings it back to us, and then we open a fresh discussion and conclude on it.
I think
it's all up to you, yeah, how you want it.
I think she was not able to do, so we'll just probably look at the ranking.
Okay, yeah, then let's do it that way.
So let's do that one. So I think during the ranking, we made tomato leaf miner as the first rank. There's a question mark, but we made it as one. The two was the, yes, eggplant, the fruit boiler, the three, okay. Somebody wanted to come in.
Yeah, eggplant is key. So I think I will also increase the ranking for eggplants and pepper.
Okay, eggplant is second ranked. So between eggplant and tomato.
I'll go for eggplants, and pepper should be the first.
Pepper should be the first.
Yes.
But chili, which pepper? Which pepper? Chili pepper?
Yeah, chili pepper.
At the moment, we don't have any solution for chili pepper, so it's very difficult for us to rank it.
Well, but it's together. Pepper and chili, they are together now in one group. So we can just take the group. I don't know.
No, please, are you looking at the slides? We are looking at chili pepper. In which
I'm looking at slide 16. Slide 16. Pepper and chili. Is this 16 row 6? The row 16, yes, that's one.
Yes, the pest is a bacteria, and the bacteria, we don't have any solution, so we can't rank it. There is no solution.
No, I'm looking at chili pepper with the issue of white fly on them.
Do we have pepper white fly? Sharon, maybe down. Do we have pepper white fly?
It didn't bubble up when the votes came through. It was
Yes, it did not.
nominated, but it was not ranked.
Okay. So it's going to be an issue. Since it was not ranked, we can. Michael, is Michael around? Or I know he asked permission that he might.
Yeah, I think because it was not ranked, we're gonna continue with the list that we have.
Okay.
Raymond, and we can follow up with you later to ensure that votes that were submitted by Sierra Leone were counted. But you know, this is a continental approach, so it
right.
may be that it was nominated and didn't get enough support to be
Okay.
ranked.
All right. Thank you, Anne. So
I
please.
would agree with Anna's comments, and also in regard to the question about bacteria. Again, as Paul mentioned, there's no solution, so I would not move that up either.
There was a suggestion that came that we should rank between the 2 and 1. Eggplant should be the first one. Then the tomato minor should be second. What suggestion? Do we agree? Okay, so let's look at it. Eggplant, does it have MRL 4? Sharon, can you go down and let me see? Sorry for the eggplant. Okay, there is no MRL. So we don't have for fruit boiler, there's no MRL at all. But for the tomato minor, there are some actives. So it's possible we can make this as a first priority, then make that one as second priority.
Okay. I think that sounds good, Paul.
Yeah.
So Paul, in that case,
yes.
In that case, then I will make a case for the eggplant should borrow to have a separate role for Cyanotranilipro, because I don't think so. Yeah. If
All
there's
right.
another
Okay.
separate
No
from Cyanotranilipro, yes. Thank you.
For Cyantra, there is MRL at Codex.
Oh, there
For
is.
eggplant. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Then we can leave the comment in S as it is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. So right now we've done the movement 1 and 2. The third one is the okra. So to me, I will keep it like that. The okra powdered wheat dill is there. Then the other issue was the other okra, which is the white fly. So between that two, this one, there is an existing one. The other okra has no MRL at all. So we should still, yes, I think we should maintain this as 3 and this 4. So we won't change it. We'll
Yes,
keep it
agreed.
like that. Yeah, okay. So then the 5 and 6, no problem. We have to maintain. So it follows in that order. But I think there was an issue that came with the 9. Do we move the 9 up? The basil.
Yeah, I think we should move him up. Basil is one of the commodities that has had real trade issues. Actually, from I don't know, from a Kenyan perspective. And it would be good if we could move it a little higher, especially with regards to my colleague was there. White flies. And perhaps
So where do we move it? Because in terms of the voting, it was down. Beans was higher. At least 1, 2, 3, we have no problem. The 4th, okra, yes, it's higher. Should we move to fit or sit?
can I get perhaps my colleague could confirm on the pest which one would be the most the pest of greater importance so that we know what ranking to take for basil, I think Movia is there. He can make a comment.
Yes, I was trying to unmute myself. For basil, I think currently what we have as a high ranking now is thrips. Because unlike initially when we had great issues with the leaf miner currently it has been contained, but with the thrips, I'll rank it high. So in terms of what colleagues are suggesting for basil, I think its ranking should be as higher, so that can be put into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe, Paul, perhaps we could look at the thrips combination for basil and see which one of those would actually have. I see registration for spinetoram is there, but perhaps not for cyantraniliprole for basil. So I don't know if we have the companies that can chip into what would be more readily workable in Kenya.
So what do we do? Should we move it to 7?
Yes, we rank it higher. Yes, please.
Okay, so let's move it to 7.
Yep.
Okay.
So
And
move
Paul,
it to 7.
comment,
Yes.
the only comment I was going to add in terms of comparing thrips and comparing products is going to be hard because it's what the thrip does. Thrips are known, like in citrus, in other parts of the world, they invade the crop. You don't have to worry about leaf miner because the thrips take over. One of the biggest issues is not just the direct damage, but the indirect damage by transmitting viruses, which even if the plant doesn't die, it's the quality of, something like a basil, which is a very high value crop, is destroyed. So I would say the 7 is fine, and we shouldn't try to delineate, between products. You need all the solutions you can get.
All right.
Thank you. That is
Right.
very welcome.
All right. So looking at it, I think we've done the ranking up to 9. So at this juncture, Geoffrey, I think we've gone through them. We've done the ranking. Maybe Sharon will finalize and send it to us the way we've done it, both the vegetable. Hello?
Yeah, Paul, I can hear you.
Yes.
I think, yeah,
Both,
thank you.
Yeah, yes. So both the fruits and nuts crop and the vegetable crops, we've done the ranking, maybe to be communicated with us based upon the meeting that we have so far. So looking at the time, I think I've really used a lot of time. I was supposed to end maybe 10 minutes ago, or yes, but I've used a lot. I think this is also important. So there was a need for us to discuss it well, so that we'll have a good information, so that we'll forward it to the global minor use, so that a decision can be taken. So thank you. Participants, I don't know whether somebody have any suggestion before I wrap up totally. Any comment, any suggestion? If there is none, I would like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody.
I think, Paul, thank everybody. Yes, please go ahead.
I thank everybody for helping me to go through this discussion. It was really an interesting, discussion, and all the comments that came, taken in good faith. We hope that we'll move on in this direction to help Africa. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul, for guiding us through this discussion. And that concludes our session on discussion and refinement of the priorities. We are left with only one item on our agenda, that is summary and next step. Again, I want to take this opportunity to invite Doug, the chairman, Minor Use Foundation, to take us through the summary and the next steps. Doc, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey. And thank you all to the participants. I wish to just, observe that as we move forward through this process, it's a learning process for all of us. We had a little difficulty with joining, some people having difficulty joining the workshop. We're investigating that further to try to understand what happened and try to prevent it or avoid it in the future. So I wanted to just share with you my conclusions and then the next steps. And so during the last 15 minutes, I put together these slides. They're in English only. And I apologize to our French-speaking colleagues that I don't have the set in translated at this moment. We'll do that and make sure it gets posted in both English and French. Next slide, please. And we'll add the results. So let me just make a comment on what you went through. Will be tabulated, validated, and communicated following the meeting. It may take us up to 2 weeks to do that, but we will definitely do that and send it to the participants as well as post it on our website under the meeting information. Next slide. So let me share with you my observations and my conclusions. And again, I just offer these as my observations and conclusions. I think that you had a very robust and detailed discussion and determined what the top priorities were for the groups of crops represented. And so remember, the groups of crops we did in two sessions. Firstly, we looked at fruits and nuts and other related crops. And then secondly, we looked at the vegetables, herbs, and some agronomic crops. I think you did a good job of refining the top priorities for these groups of crops. I think you also did a good job in adjusting the voting, the rankings that came in via voting, and adjusted them based on importance, urgency, and the available solutions. And this is exactly what I was hoping would come out of the conversation, because it validates the information that was originally generated, and it adds some context and richness to it that we didn't have previously. So the foundation will compare the priorities that you've worked on today to previous priorities established by the Global Minor Use Priority Setting meeting in late 2020, in Asia in late 2021, and Latin America earlier in 2022. What we're going to look for is similarities and differences across those groups, and try to take that into account, because as you know, we're trying to develop global data packages that can be submitted to the JMPR for eventual Codex MRLs. We will do a second step to go back and confirm the registrant support for the crop pest combination and solutions that have been prioritized. And we do that because we need to make sure that we have registrant support and that we have a clear understanding of that registrant support. So that's the second step we make. And then after that, we would begin to identify possible trial locations and timing, and put together a work plan based on the priorities that have been established in the context of the resources that are available. And of course, as I mentioned a moment ago, we will communicate the priorities to you as workshop participants, as well as by posting them on our website. Next slide. So I want to conclude my comments by thanking you for your participation today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your discussion and for the results that have been obtained. I especially would like to call out the workshop participants who nominated, voted, and helped select the initial crop chemical combinations, to the participants today, to you individually as you refined those priorities based on the conversations we had today. Paul, thank you for leading the discussion to develop the ranked priorities. I appreciate your participation and leadership in the meeting today. Jeffrey, thank you for being the moderator for the entire workshop. And thanks to our partners who worked to translate from English to French, French to English, and hosted this Zoom meeting. And finally, and I'm sure I will have overlooked some, and I apologize for the editing error on the slide, but to the Minor Use Foundation staff, Michael, Shannon, Stella, and others for their preparation, presentation, workshop materials, and communication. Whenever you list people's names like I did here, you always look at it afterwards and say, I shouldn't have been calling individuals out. I should just have been acknowledging the entire staff for their excellent work and participation. So thank you to all of you for your work and for your participation. Next slide. Once again, I'm going to leave you with my contact information. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, if you have, for any reason, want to communicate with me directly, you're welcome to do so. You can reach me at dirk.drost@minorusefoundation.org and at those 2 telephone numbers that are listed. One of those is, of course, on the bottom of the agenda, which is the second one is the official number that we use for the foundation, and the other is my personal cell phone number. But I welcome any reach out or feedback from the participants in the conversation today. Any feedback, any suggestions, any recommendations are all welcome. And once again, I'll point you to our website, www.minorusefoundation.org, where the results will be posted in due course, and further information, including recordings of this meeting and copies of the slides that were used, will be available. With that, I wish you all a good day, and thank you all for your participation. And Jeffrey, I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dirk. I don't have much really to say other than thanking the participants who have really made it possible for us to have this workshop. And then, of course, the minor use team for facilitating this process. And of course, not to forget, as you say, the translators who really keep us communicating and understanding each other. So thank you, and thank you so much. We shall wait for the materials from this workshop. And as usual, I'll encourage the participants and the other colleagues who have not even joined us to make sure they make proper use of the materials which will be shared. Thank you. And at this point in time, I want to declare this workshop closed. Thank you.
Geoffrey, I thought we were going to take another picture. Oh.
No, we did it during the, no, we thought people would drop out. No.
All right, okay.
We agreed, okay. Yeah. Okay, Paul, bye-bye.
Bye.
Everybody, yes, bye. Yeah. Lucy, bye. Yes, Michael, bye. Yes, Stella, bye. Yes, Anna, bye.
Bye, Jeffrey.
Yes, and Shannon, bye too.
Bye, Stella.
Yes.